Cougar fans, Peter Borkowski here on the Cougar Sports Network, bringing you this edition of Coaches Weekly. And this time, I'm joined by assistant coach of CUC men's basketball, Coach Justin Bodorf. Welcome to the show. Excited to talk to you today, Coach.
Appreciate it. Excited to be here again.
Well, Coach, everyone is back on campus from winter break, but you guys were quite busy over that winter break. And I want to start there, which I know how difficult it can be for coaches to keep those athletes engaged over a break. 3 weeks, the students were off campus. You guys were on campus for most of that time. I know they got a little time off in between. You had about a week-long break there. But how did you and the coaching staff, what did you guys do to make sure your guys stayed engaged? Again, it can get tough. They're on campus. Most people aren't. So what did you guys do to make sure that they were locked in on the games and weren't getting, bogged down by the fact they were here on winter break?
Yeah, really just spending a lot of time together. Obviously, we're practicing every day, but find, maybe 30 extra minutes every day to get in the gym and just kind of work on some different stuff, whether it's big groups or small groups, stuff like that. And but otherwise, just like be together, team meals, team activities, stuff like that. Just get a little bit closer together. This time of year is such a big part for big time of year for teams where they grow closer together and some kind of break apart and stuff. And
make or break point.
Absolutely, and I think it was a good couple weeks for us. We definitely got closer together. We're playing some good basketball right now.
Definitely, yeah. And speaking of that, you guys ended winter break with a bang, 2 straight conference wins last week against Lakeland and Benedictine. And last time I talked to Coach Searles, we talked about finding consistency with this team. You guys would win 1 or 2, you would lose 1 or 2, and it seems you guys kind of found that last week with those 2 big conference wins. So, what was really the key to that success last week? What did you guys do in both those games that allowed for those 2 straight wins?
Yeah, I think we just were consistent on the defensive end.
Okay.
It starts on that end for us. We kind of were just a little bit more connected defensively, got more stops, and it allowed us to get out and run and kind of play the way we want to play. And so I think that's going to be the big thing the rest of this year is just continuing to be more sound defensively, create a little bit of chaos, and get out and run like we did in those last couple games.
Right. And then, the train keeps rolling ahead. This week, you guys go to MSOE on Wednesday. That's tomorrow. What do you guys need to keep building on? Like you said, if it's the defensive, something else, what do you guys need to keep building on to keep that momentum going, get a win against MSOE together, and get ahead in conference play? You guys would be above 500 for the first time if you win tomorrow.
Yeah, I think, like I said, the defense, but also, just playing selfless basketball. I think, our number of assists have gone up a ton our last couple games. Everyone's kind of getting in the mix, scoring-wise and making plays. And so I think just that, continue to play fast at a super high pace and just get everybody involved. I think if we continue to do that, we'll like where we're at.
And then you have a really interesting matchup here on Saturday, St. Norbert College. It's your guys' first repeat game of the year. You lost to them in the conference opener way back when, towards the beginning of the season. What are kind of some of the differences that you noticed in this team between that first St. Norbert game and then hopefully the Saturday St. Norbert game that you think will get the result you want against those Green Knights and get a win to split the season series with them?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think we're definitely a more connected unit at this point. I think we're a lot more solid defensively. I think we've kind of figured out a lot of things since that game. We've become a little bit tougher. We're a little bit more physical. We've been a lot better on the boards, which is a big part of why I think we lost that game the first time. So I think you're going to see a different team on Saturday night versus St. Norbert. But obviously all our focus right now is on MSOE on Wednesday, and they're a really good team.
Of course.
And we're just trying to take it one day at a time, one practice at a time, one rep at a time. And I think we're doing a great job with that. And if we continue that, we're going to like our results this week.
Definitely. Well, CUC men's basketball, they're back at it tomorrow night, taking a trip to Milwaukee to face MSOE at 7 p.m. Coverage for that game can be found at our website, cucougars.com. And then that St. Norbert game is here on Saturday, also at 7 p.m. That live stream will be found at CUC Sports on YouTube. Coach Bodorf, thanks for joining me today. Good luck in these upcoming games. I'm looking forward to talking to you again some point in the future. But until then, this is Peter Borkowski signing off of the Cougar Sports Network and wanting to say, as always, go Cougars.
Go Cougars.
What's going on, Cougar fans, and welcome inside Geisman Gymnasium as we get set for some Wednesday night hoops between your Concordia University Chicago Cougars and the visiting Scarlet Hawks of the Illinois Institute of Technology. Peter Borkowski here with Jonathan Shear on the Cougar Sports Network, bringing you all of tonight's action. Jonathan, let's break down these two teams before we really get to the action of the night, starting with the Cougars on a little bit of a skid here. They dropped two big conference games last week, and it all ended on Saturday, a 68-55 loss at the hands of the number one ranked St. Norbert College Green Knights. But, Jonathan, it was really a tale of two halves for this Cougars team. We saw a very kind of discouraged team in the first half, but then a brand new Cougars team come out in that second half. Just wasn't enough to get the job done, however. Yeah, the game started off very poorly for CUC, put up 14 points in the first half, shooting barely over 21% from the field. That second half, though, 41 points to St. Norbert's 34, won that second half, got that game a lot closer than it looked like it was in the first half. So they found momentum at the end of that game, just wasn't able to get it going early on enough. Right. St. Norbert is the number one team in the conference for a reason, but we did see a really great performance out of Jacob Kalikot on Saturday. Even though he did foul out of the game in the fourth quarter, still ended the night with 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, And Jonathan, Kalikot's kind of one of those signs that the Cougars are playing well. When he's out there, when he's doing his Jacob Kalikot things, he is such an explosive player, and it usually means things are going well for his team. Absolutely. Kalikot, he's sort of your leader in the paint for this Cougar team. Leads the team in rebounds so far this year, helps kind of lead that second chance points charge. That's that cog you need to get working if you're going to get going well, and that's Jacob Kalikot for this Cougars team. Right, and the funny thing is, Kalikot isn't even that tall of a player. It's just he's such a great athlete. He literally bounces outside of Geisman Gymnasium. That's why he's able to go up, get those rebounds, get those blocks too. He's one of the leaders in blocks in the whole NAC conference, top 10. So Jacob Kalikot, of course, a very important piece for the Cougars. But another important piece who we unfortunately didn't really see Saturday night, Jonathan, was Jordan Matthews. He's coming off an MSOE game on Wednesday where he scored his 1,000th point as a CUC Cougar, and he followed it up with, honestly, one of his worst showings of the year on Saturday against SNC. Yeah, Jordan Matthews, on the season so far, leading the Cougars with averaging 14 points a game. Against St. Norbert's on Saturday, though, put up just 4 points, shooting 2 for 8 from the field, and that's a guy that CUC, they're going to be looking for more out of him tonight. He's going to be looking to do better too, sort of get back on track, find that rhythm that he usually has out on the court. Matthews, again, is the leader of this Cougars team. They need him to thrive for better or for worse. Fortunately, we didn't see that against the Green Knights. Maybe we'll see that tonight against the Scarlet Hawks. Let's talk about them a little. 3-13 on the year. It's been rough sailing for IIT. Their 2-7 record in conference is the worst in the Northern Athletic Collegiate Conference, and they are coming off, granted, a very spirited loss against Concordia, Wisconsin this past Saturday, 77-73 in double overtime, an absolute thriller up in Mequon. And Caden Gigstad led the way for him, 17 points, 4 3-pointers on the night. But this is a Scarlet Hawks team who just really isn't being able to pull it together so far this year, Jonathan. Absolutely, it's been a rough year for the Scarlet Hawks. That Concordia, Wisconsin game, though, very close game for them. That shows they have spirit. That's a team you can't just expect to walk over them. Cougars are going to have to be on their toes tonight. Big part of that game against Concordia, Wisconsin was that 5 players scoring in double digits. And that kind of shows an element of this Illinois Tech squad, which is they like to use a lot of different players. They go to their bench. 9 players on the season, averaging more than 10 minutes a game. They use different players. They rotate their pieces. Not a single player averaging over 30 minutes a game either. So there's not just one man they're throwing out there for all 40 minutes. They use different pieces, try and find something to work. And last week, they found their thing against Concordia, Wisconsin. Almost worked against CU Dub, and Jonathan's right. This is a team who really likes to share the love, pass the rock around. But if there was one lead man to point out, it would probably be Garrison Carter on the year. 13 points, 5 rebounds. He is kind of the lead man for an IIT team who, as Jonathan said, they utilize a lot of different players, and that leads to a lot of high energy. You got guys coming in off the bench. They're well rested. CUC is going to have to do their due diligence in terms of keeping up the pace with IIT. But let's talk about some history really quick. All time, the Scarlet Hawks do lead the all-time series against the Cougars. 6 wins to the Cougars 5, but CUC is on a 2-game winning streak here. Going back to this past November, they actually met once earlier this season, a 75-60 win for the Cougars. Jordan Matthews did have a good game in that one, 14 points. Things got a little chippy at one point, though, so something to keep an eye on is the tempers of these players throughout in a conference game that both these teams really need to win. The Cougars are 2 games below 500. They'd like to get an inch closer to that even mark, while the Scarlet Hawks, now it's kind of do or die for them. They need to start pulling it together. 5 games below 500 in conference play. But, Jonathan, what's it going to take tonight for CUC to pull us off? Again, they need a conference win here after 2 losses last week to MSOE and that Green Knights loss. What do they need to do here tonight against the Scarlet Hawks to hopefully go to the locker room with a W?
I think what the Cougars need to do to get back on track tonight is get that shooting going again. This is a shooting team. They love their offense, average more than 80 points a game, especially early on. Get into that rhythm quickly, take control of the tempo, the pace, just the general feel of the game, and put up a lot of early points so you don't end up where you were this Saturday trying to fight back. You're the one in control, in the lead. You're looking good to win the game.
Yeah, that is a very good point. Cougars are what you could probably describe as a second-half team. A lot of slow starts from this squad throughout the year. It's something first-year head coach Rashawn Searles has hit on a couple times in our coaches' weekly interviews, is being able to get out of the gate with a jump. As for me, it all comes in the turnover battle. This is the Cougars team. They love scoring points off of turnovers. 34 of their points against SNC on Saturday were off turnovers. There's a big reason they won that second half. And last time these two teams met back in November, Cougars, they scored 17 points off of turnovers. So being able to get those steals and immediately transition defense to offense, going to be key for the CUC team tonight. But we're going to be able to see if they can pull that off as the Cougars are taking on the Scarlet Hawks right here in Geisman Gymnasium. Jonathan and I will be on the call with you on the Cougars Sports Network. We're going to send it down courtside for starting lineups and national anthem. But before all of that, we have a very special message from President of Concordia University Chicago, Dr. Russell Dawn.
Hello, I'm Dr. Russell Dawn, President of Concordia University Chicago. Thank you for tuning in to today's Cougar Athletics broadcast. We take great pride in the strength of both our athletic and academic programs, which are rooted in our steadfast commitment to Jesus Christ. Dedicated to the liberal arts as a foundation of a high-quality college degree, we believe education should form individuals for service to their neighbors. This makes Concordia Chicago an exciting and fulfilling place to study, work, learn, and grow. Learn more today by visiting cuchicago.edu. Thank you, and go Cougars!
We're in Geisman Gymnasium as we're about to have tip-off between tonight's men's basketball game between your Concordia University Chicago Cougars and the visiting Scarlet Hawks of the Illinois Institute of Technology. Peter Borkowski, Jonathan Shear joining you on the Cougar Sports Network. Let's run through those starting lineups one more time for everybody watching at home. For the Illinois Institute of Technology Scarlet Hawks, it is number 2, Caden Gigstad, number 10, Dario Biazzi, number 25, Andrew Vion, number 30, Garrison Carter, and number 31, Nicholas Ortiz. And for the Concordia University Chicago Cougars, it is number 1, Justin Greenley, number 10, Brent Hatton, number 12, Jordan Matthews, number 14, Jacob Collicott, and number 25, the sophomore, Carter Langendorf. Collicott and Garrison Carter at center court for the tip-off, as we already have a conversation here between the referees for the night, as they're making sure everything is in order pre-game. Cougars, they are coached by student managers Glenn Pollard, Shane Wick, assistant coaches Justin Bodorf, Mark Condati, and Jimmy Fields, and the head coach of the Cougars in his first season is Rashawn Searles. Meanwhile, the Scarlet Hawks, their grad assistant is Derek Faulkner, their assistant coaches Ebenezer Nunu, Awak ER, and Stendell King, and the head coach of IIT is TJ Gray in his 4th season at the helm. And as both these teams looking for a pivotal conference win tonight, as now one of the officials is meeting with Coach Searles as well as Coach Gray. Wondering what exactly the holdup is here tonight. But, Jonathan, these two teams, both in need of a conference win for different reasons, really. The Scarlet Hawks, they're 2-7, so really they need a win just to kind of get back on track here. I mean, they're 5 games below, and funny enough, one of those conference wins is against St. Norbert, who we mentioned was the number 1 team in the conference, is the number 1 team in the conference, and yet somehow IIT able to pull off a win against them and count for half their conference wins. Meanwhile, the Cougars, I mean, they're 2 games below 500, and this is kind of the point in the season where it's really do or die for your squad in terms of the playoff race. When you're 2 games below 500, you need that major turnaround right now, be able to get a couple wins in a row, so hopefully you can get back to 500.
Yeah, I mean, on Illinois Tech's end, like you mentioned, 2-7, not a great place to be. You're just looking for a win. And as you mentioned earlier, they beat St. Norbert's. They almost beat Concordia, Wisconsin at Concordia, Wisconsin. This is a team you can't just walk over.
Well, meanwhile, I believe the problem the referees were discussing is the shot clock in front of the Cougars bench on the right of your screen is off for some reason. And what that does is it awards a technical foul to the Cougars. So we saw one free throw come from number 2, Caden Gigstad. He makes it. So IIT already up 1-0, and we just had the tip-off, which the Scarlet Hawks currently control in the Cougars' half, as it is currently Biazzi dribbling. He hands it off over to Nicholas Ortiz, who finds Andrew Vion. Now he'll start drive to the rim, guarded by Hatton, and kicks it back out. Here is Gigstad, no good. He hit 4 threes in that loss to CU Dub, unable to hit that one to start the game. Inside pass to Hatton, it bobbles around, and it's a turnover, so here come the Scarlet Hawks. And here's another 3, no good. Rebound Justin Greenley, that one by Nicholas Ortiz. So 0 for 2 from beyond the arc to start the game for the Scarlet Hawks. And now Justin Greenley, the point man for CUC, slows it down, hands it off to Jordan Matthews, who plays a little give and go with Greenley. Greenley inside pass to Hatton. Hatton now hard drive, pulls back. That pass tipped around, and that looked like just one too many passes there from Hatton. And here's a 3, and it's good. The Scarlet Hawks finally able to hit from beyond the arc. 1 for 3 now. All of their shots have come from beyond 3.
And that's Garrison Carter right there. That's their leading point score per game. 3 on the board to kick off the Scarlet Hawks. That's an early 4-0 lead for Illinois Tech.
And here's Carter Langendorf in the paint, up and good. Carter Langendorf gets the Cougars on the board with an easy bucket underneath the net. CUC able to cut the lead in half, now 4-2. Here is Ortiz. Biazzi thought about a three instead of inside pass and stuffed at the rim and a foul. A delayed whistle on Brett Hatton, who was playing tough defense on Andrew Vion. And now instead Vion will go to the line for two. Vion, a 70% free throw shooter on the season, 28 for 40. As he hopes to extend an early IIT lead here. His first shot is up and good. IIT on the season from three-point land shooting 32%. That is ninth in the NAC, and all of their field goal attempts up until that fouled shot have been from beyond the arc, so that appears to be their game plan. CUC defending the three or holding teams to a 34% margin. That's third best in the conference. As quick ball movement here from CUC. Collicott baseline drive. Somehow gets the ball to Matthews. Collicott a corner three. No good. Rebound up and into the hands of Biazzi. And poked away by Collicott. There's those turnovers we're looking for CUC. Collicott to Greenlee. Greenlee up and in. And right away, Jonathan, I said it was going to be a key for this Cougars team. The points off of turnovers. CUC getting their second field goal of the day off a steal.
And that's something where they've capitalized better than Illinois Tech so far. Illinois Tech getting a lot of Cougar turnovers so far, only scoring on one of those. CUC gets their first turnover of the night, converts it into points right away. They're clawing back that early deficit really nicely here.
5-4 lead in favor of the visitors from the south side of Chicago, right across the highway from the White Sox Stadium, as up and in from Nicholas Ortiz. Here's one, a foul on the play as he used an acrobatic finish. Scarlet Hawks back up by three. Collicott inside to Langendorf. Langendorf kicks it back from beyond the arc. Here is Matthews. Matthews uses Langendorf's screen back to Carter Langendorf. Thought about a three, instead kicks it. Collicott to the rim and in. Jacob Collicott walking on air. And CUC back within one. There's that athleticism we were talking about from number 14 in white.
Yeah, Collicott does not look like your typical paint guy, but he's just so good at making those drives, putting up tough layups like the one he had right there.
CUC gets a stop on the defensive end. Greenlee now, he tries a tough floater, no good. Hatton tried to bat it back in. Instead, all it does is go off the rim and into the hands of Gigstad. Biazzi, and he was looking for Carter, and Carter had slipped and fell. I think he was wanting a little bit of a push on it. Gets no love from the referee, so another IIT turnover, and CUC will have a chance to take a lead here. Checking in for IIT is number one, Tomas Tilagurgis. As Wilson over to Greenlee, to Collicott, to Wilson. Matthews in the corner. He'll just pull up from three. Jordan Matthews.
And that is a start. Jordan Matthews looking off, coming off of one of his worst games of the season, hitting his first shot for an early three to put this team in front. That's what he's looking for. That's what this team's looking for.
Matthews is making over 2 threes a game. That is 6th best in the Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference. As Biazzi hits the side of the rim, gets some jeers from the Cougars. Wilson with some speed to the basket, on and in and out. Took an unfavorable bounce off the front of the rim. And now IIT has a chance to make up for Paul George-esque shot off the side of the backboard. As here is Andrew Vion. He turns it over. Wilson runs into Vion. Wilson struggling with it. Here's Sean Beckman, a floating alley-oop from Jacob Collicott. Not as flashy as the dunk, but still results in 2 points. CUC up by 4.
And you don't get the flashy dunk, but that was some beautiful ball movement right there from CUC.
2 by Gigstad is no good. Ball batted around, but foul on the floor. Andrew Vion tagged with it. That'll be team foul number 1 for the Scarlet Hawks, and Obviously, that'll also be Vion's first personal, which means it's time for the Cougars to inbound it. Justin Greenlee walks the dog a little bit, now picks it up. Greenlee signifying a set for the Cougars. You can see him tapping his chin there. Always interesting to see what body language these teams use to get their players in motion. As Jordan Matthews finds Beckman. Beckman hand off to Collicott. And Jordan Matthews, he'll go for a second three. No good. Almost got it. Just a little more power was needed as it hit off the front of the rim. Here's Tomas Teklagurgis, excuse me. And a foul on the play, Sean Beckman. And it's on the floor, so no shots coming up from Teklagurgis. Teklagurgis will now inbound it, a senior out of Chicago, went to Harrison Community High School. As both these teams, plenty of Chicago talent, seeing that IIT, again, just on the south side of the city, and CUC, the first suburb west of the city. Plenty of Chicago blood on both of these rosters as the Cougars get some chaos ball. Sean Beckman dives for it, going all out. He gets it up to Matthews. Matthews ahead to Wilson. Wilson now back to Matthews. Matthews, open lane, floater. It's good.
Matthews stays hot. CUC up to a 6-point lead here early. This is that early rhythm they needed to find.
And Jonathan, this is exactly what you wanted to see out of Jordan Matthews, what we all wanted to see, but you pointed out in the pregame show. Matthews getting going early, getting those points on the board, because when he has a monster game, that's usually a good sign for CUC. Teklagurgis mishandles the dribble, picks it up. Biazzi, his three, no good. Ball is loose, and there's Justin Greenlee. And the shot clock on the basket that IIT is shooting on is still out, so they really have to rely on their bench unit to be able to yell out the shot clock time. And obviously that'll be a problem the Cougars have to deal with in the second half when they switch sides they're attacking. As here is Collicott, hard baseline drive, swings it. Justin Greenlee, nice pass over to Wilson. Wilson, no good. Rebound grabbed by the 6'10 freshman, Joshua Aguadi, number 11 in black, easily the tallest player out in the court right now. Teklagurgis, he finds Garrison Carter. Carter, a sophomore, and he throws it away. And land at the feet of first-year head coach Rashawn Searles, and now we get a decent line change here for CUC. Greenlee, Collicott, and Matthews out. Darian Williams, Joel Watts, and William Bishop Green check in for the Cougars.
And right now, the momentum is just swung in Concordia's favor. 9-0 run here to take the lead, establish a decent gap over Illinois Tech. And Illinois Tech just seems to be floundering a little bit on offense right now.
For their last five, as here's Bishop Green, a three, no good. A high rebound, Sean Beckman right there. One-handed layup, no good. Bodies flying. Whistle finally blows. We'll have to see who this lands on, as it will be number 11, Aguade of IIT. It was on the shot, so Sean Beckman sent to the line. Beckman, a huge get in the transfer portal for the CUC squad. Coming from Harper College, Beckman listed as a junior, as he's able to hit that free throw. 10-0 run now for CUC. Beckman 64% from the charity stripe on the season, and that goes up a little bit more as he takes a 2-2 trip on the line. 14-7 now in favor of the Concordia Chicago Cougars. 15-7, excuse me. Scoreboard just updated, as here is Ortiz. Ortiz now stomps on a dime, kicks it back out to number 23, Furkan Muhammad. First time we've called his name tonight. Aguade, a screen and ball picked off. William Bishop Green fighting for it, and he loses it. It's on the ground. Bishop Green, no jump ball. CUC has it. Wilson over to Joel Watts. Darian Williams, a three. It's no good.
No points come out of it. That was some impressive ball movement from CUC to get out of a loose ball jam and get an open three from the corner right there.
Tekla Gergis, and IIT eventually loses it. Last touch out of bounds. But, Jonathan, that's where the CUC team thrives, is the term chaos ball, which is just, bodies are flying on the floor, the ball's loose, players are just picking it up, and then CUC, I mean, that's their specialty, is they pick up that loose ball, and immediately they are attacking the rim, going to the basket. That's what makes the CUC offense so potent to a big momentum swing. As here is Joel Watts, hand off to William Bishop Green. Bishop Green crossover move on Tekla Gergis. Now he kicks it out. Joel Watts, Darian Williams. Wilson now inside, loses it. Last touch on Wilson. He's trying to say that IIT tipped it. Referees see it a different way. As inbounding it now will be Furkan Muhammad.
And you mentioned that sort of offensive style of CUC. That's something they have that differs from Illinois Tech. They run a bit of a faster-paced offense, faster passes, faster movement. Illinois Tech trying to adapt to it and travel right there. They're just struggling to.
Alan Watatani, picks up his dribble, takes one too many steps, and CUC now has a chance to tack on to their 11-0 run. Here comes Wilson over to Beckman. Beckman, open three. It's good. Draining it. Number 33 from three. And CUC ups the ante even more. 14 straight points in just over 5 minutes of play. IIT is floundering right now. And as Ortiz looking for solutions, he gives it to Murphy, and here's Vion back in the game. Vion bodies up on Beckman. Beckman standing tall. Now here's a three from Ortiz. No good. Rebound grabbed by Rodney Murphy, and IIT breaks a near 5.5 minute long scoring drought. First field goal in 7 attempts for the Scarlet Hawks, as here's Beckman. Beckman back in his way and finds Bishop Green. Pump fake. Bishop Green to the rim. No good. Loose ball still. And it's gathered by Murphy. Ortiz trying to put some men in motion. Bounce pass to Vion. Here's Murphy. Murphy to Ortiz. Ortiz dribbling through some defenders, but he's getting tied up by Joel Watts. Joel Watts as Ortiz stops on the dime, loose ball, and out on the Cougars.
Something of note in the way these offensive styles are is CUC in this game so far is more consistently utilizing ball movement around the arc than Illinois Tech. The Scarlet Hawks, they're driving it in towards the paint and then trying to pass it around in there, and that's contributing somewhat to these loose balls out of bounds, more steals, more turnovers. It's creating a bit more chaos for their offense than they would like right now.
Well, Vion, as the shot clock is at 7, three-pointer by Carter, no good. Ball grabbed by Williams, still tipped, and here's a loose ball right into the hands of Biazzi. Right place, right time for the junior out of San Juan, Puerto Rico. Joel Watts crossover move, and he throws it away. He was trying to go up against Watatani, who checks out of the game in favor of Caden Gigstad. And a big line change here for CUC. Greenlee, Matthews, Collicott, and Hatton back in. Wilson, the only player left from the previous 5 players on the court, as TJ Gray will call a full timeout as his team a little bit of a run here. CUC hasn't scored in over 2 minutes. It's 18-11, 9:30 left to go here in the first half. We're going to take a break here on the Cougar Sports Network, and when we come back, we will resume first half action between the Scarlet Hawks and the Cougars. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network, CUC on top of IIT 18-11. Peter Borkowski joined by Jonathan Shear. And Jonathan, IIT kind of figuring it out right now. A decent little run here as they've held the Cougars scoreless for almost 2.5 minutes. And I think that's really come down to the pace of play. We've been talking about these contrasting styles, and IIT's really shining right now because they're controlling the ball and just really taking time off the clock.
Yeah, way it looks of whoever controls the pace of the game, they control where the momentum is. Right now, it's IIT. They're playing offense the way that they want to.
As a foul on the floor, Andrew Vion pushed over in the paint. Foul is tagged to Jordan Matthews. CUC, their third team foul. Matthews, that'll be his first personal. As both teams doing a decent job of keeping play relatively clean here. Again, last time these two teams met at IIT, it was November 25th. Things kind of got chippy towards the end of the game. A couple ejections from the game. So we'll have to see what tonight brings for these two conference rivals. Two of the closest teams in the NAC by proximity. As here is Carter, 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Loose ball, Vion picks it up. Vion spin move, floater, and it's good. Great move there by number 25 in black. Vion puts his defender in the spin cycle and finishes off a tough jumper.
And that's the role that Illinois Tech needed. They're on a 6-0 run now. They've clawed it back down to a 5-point gap here.
Wilson to Matthews. Matthews backs into Ortiz. Now takes it to the rim. Matthews, no good. Then everything but score. That ball hanging on the rim for a hot second. Here are the Scarlet Hawks now. Hard drive by Carter, and he just slices his way through the defense. Go ahead pass to Collicott. The Cougars, they're already attacking. Collicott, bunny hop. He's stuffed by Biazzi. And an outlet pass, and there's Hatton. Stops to avoid the over and back violation as it's Wilson to Greenlee. Greenlee slows things down. Uses Hatton as a screen. Greenlee now takes it to the rim himself. No good. Rebound. There's Wilson. Wilson floater. No good. Rebound again is up. And finally, it's corralled by Garrison Carter. Here come the Scarlet Hawks. Everybody playing with a little tempo. Gigstad got his defender jumping, and a great shot there. Caden Gigstad had his man in the air. Took his 1 or 2 steps he had left to get to the rim and finished up a great play. As IIT now has forced Coach Rashawn Searles to call a 30-second timeout. They've closed this to a 1-point game, 18-17. And Jonathan, I mean, we kind of saw this at the beginning from IIT too. That is very similar to the team we're seeing now. They were controlling pace. They were taking smart shots. Now there was that, stretch in the middle where CUC was playing their game, but IIT is playing back to the strengths of their team. And like you said, they've gone on an impressive run now, 10-0 in 3 minutes and 48 seconds. That's made it a 1-point game.
Yeah, you're really not going to see much direct back and forth between these two teams. It's going to come down to, like we said, who controls the pace of the offense. We're going to see a lot of big runs like this. Concordia hitting their drought. They're starting to flounder a bit. They're off their offensive game. Illinois Tech, they're rolling. They're on their game. They're making CUC play the way they want to. Now it's going to be up to CUC to flip that script and do the same to the Scarlet Hawks.
Here is Collicott. Swings it to Matthews, and it was tipped by Biazzi. Biazzi getting just a fingertip on it as the Cougars will have 18 seconds left on the shot clock. Here is Bishop Green. Bishop Green hands it back to Collicott. He was trapped by 3 guys, so he has to give it back to Bishop Green. Bishop Green now. Cougars got to do something. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Bishop Green spinning, pivoting, no good. And rebound is in the hands of Vion. Scarlet Hawks can take a lead here, as it is Tekla Gurgis. Tekla Gurgis uses a Vion screen, but Vion didn't roll. It looked like a pick and roll action, except Vion forgot the roll, and Matthews going the other way. Gives the Cougars a little boost there, 3-point lead.
That snaps the drought. That's the player you're going to look to snap the drought. Jordan Matthews, he is your offensive leader, has been so far tonight, along with Sean Beckman. And maybe this is where we start to see that script get flipped.
Matthews, a 7-point performance so far with 6:38 to go in the first half. Here's Vion, bunny hop, Vion right to the rim. Andrew Vion, a 6'6 senior out of Riverside, Illinois, using his height to his advantage. Matthews to Collicott. Over to Greenlee. Greenlee dribbles around the perimeter. Bishop Green over. Brett Hatton, 3-ball, no good. Rebound, Jacob Collicott positioned himself perfectly. Here's Greenlee now. Goes to work on Vion. Stops, kicks it out. Matthews thought about a 3. Has to pivot. Matthews now puts the ball on the ground over to Collicott. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Collicott. Here is a floater. William Bishop Green off the front of the rim. And now the Scarlet Hawks, they can take a lead once again. Ball in the hand of Desmond Price. 3-ball, 42-point lead. No good. Rebound, and it's knocked down. Jacob Collicott got up there, and William Bishop Green loses it on the dribble. But a heck of an effort from Jacob Collicott. Collicott on the roster, 6'3", going up against the 6'5" Garrison Carter, and Collicott got all the way up there to be able to bring that rebound down, as he'll take a much-needed rest on the bench. Hatton, Matthews, Greenlee, Joel Watts, Darian Williams, and Bishop Green out on the court for the Cougars. Tekla Gurgis gets some instruction from Coach Gray, as Tekla Gurgis gets it to Iguati, and the Scarlet Hawks have stormed back. They take a 1-point lead now. Bishop Green to Matthews to Darian Williams. A 3-ball. It's no good. Hit the opposite side of the rim. As here come the Scarlet Hawks. Here's a 3-ball from IIT. Nothing but net for Furkan Muhammad out of Izmir, Turkey. And that'll force a timeout by Coach Searles and the Cougars. 30 seconds. As they have found themselves in a 4-point hole. Cougar fans, a reminder that you can find out all information about CUC athletics on our athletics page, cucougars.com. That includes rosters, stats, schedules, and more. And you have information about every team on campus. All you got to do is go to cucougars.com, click on the sports tab, and select the team you're looking for, like CUC men's basketball. Once again, that is cucougars.com. And looking at some of the trends, Jonathan, nothing looking good for CUC right now. 1 for their last 10 from the field. They haven't scored in over 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Meanwhile, IIT, 7-0 run, 17-2 run over the last 7 minutes and change, and they're 6 for their last 4. This is one of those cases where the Scarlet Hawks, they're really feeling themselves right now offensively. The Cougars, they are not. These are two teams trending in opposite directions, and that's why the Scarlet Hawks have charged all the way back to take this 4-point lead. Bishop Green now under the basket to Joel Watts. Almost lost it. He gathers it. Watts to Matthews. Matthews, a deep 3. No good. In and out. And rebound by the big man, Iguade, as the Scarlet Hawks with Carter immediately attacking the basket. Tekla Gurgis goes up against his opposing number 1, Justin Greenlee. Before he gets it back to Desmond Price. Price, he'll take a catch-and-shoot 3. No good. And Iguade going up for the rebound off the glass. The bank is open for Joshua Iguade. And CUC finds themselves in a 6-point hole. Floater for Greenlee. No good. Rebound is gathered by Joel Watts. Mouse in the house. Joel Watts, listed at 5'9", going up against the 6'10" Iguade. However, there was a foul on the play. And now an interesting move here, Jonathan. We see the Cougars, they trot out number 35, Liam Cameron. Cameron only averaging 3.7 minutes a game, but look who he's matched up against. It is Iguade. Coach Searles, I think, sees just the havoc Iguade and his height is wrecking. So Coach Searles counters with his 7-footer in Cameron.
Yeah, Iguade winning rebounds right now simply because it's hard to get a rebound over a guy who's 6'10".
So what do? You put someone in who's 7 feet tall and see if that'll get you some more boards. Matthews now with 4 seconds. Matthews to the rim, no good, and there's Liam Cameron right on cue. The 7-footer might only average 4 minutes a game, but this Geisman crowd loves number 35. That's what anybody who has a 7-foot tall player on their roster who could do something like that.
And that's a big shift in the Cougars' favor. They've been struggling to get second chance points so far this game, somewhere that Illinois Tech has been doing fairly well at.
Tekla Gerges, shake and bake, loses Emmanuel Wilson. As the Cougars now immediately on the other end. Matthews, athletic finish, no good, but draws the foul. Jordan Matthews trying to go all the way to the rack, and we'll get 2 free throws out of it.
Cougars at a stage of the game, they're looking to get points any way they can. They're shooting below their season average from the field. They average 49% from the field so far in this half, just 31%. They're not hitting their shots like they usually do. They're scoring much lower than they usually do, only 23 so far. That's kind of the trend that, quite simply, they just have to get going in another direction. They just simply need to start putting up more points. That's the way that this team likes to win ball games. It's what they're best at doing.
Matthews' second free throw is up and good. Brings it back to a 4-point deficit for CUC. As CUC breaking out the pressure now, face guarding everybody. Liam Cameron is back towards the CUC basket, of course guarding Iguadi. As here's Matthews on Vion, back to Iguade. Matthews tries to tie him up. Iguade just holds the ball up in the air. As Joel Watts is tagged with a foul. Nicholas Ortiz getting tangled up in Joel Watts' arms. Watts, another impact transfer on the CUC roster. Joliet Junior College product, 10th in the conference in steals per game at 1.5. Got a little too handsy on that play, however. Here is Ortiz. Collicott. Vion now loses Wilson, and Wilson able to get right back on him. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Carter to beat it. Yes, sir. Garrison Carter, a tough jumper. As pass ahead to Cameron. Cameron gets tied up and draws the foul. A travel. Liam Cameron thought he was going to the free throw line. Instead, the referees say that he took one too many steps. And so IIT will have a chance to increase their 6-point lead here. And Jonathan, something else about this IIT team is they're just hitting their shots right now. I mean, that last shot by Garrison Carter, I think, is a perfect example. That was a tough shot. He was moving. He pulled up. 2 seconds left on the shot clock. As we'll get back to that point because CUC, ball on the ground. Ball still on the ground. Liam Cameron with it, and now a jump ball called. Finally, as these players were on the ground for a while, possession is favoring CUC. So not a clean steal, but still results in a turnover. But, Jonathan, back to the point, I mean, IIT's just hitting tough shots right now.
Yep.
When a team's hitting shots like we saw that last shot by Carter, there's really not a lot you can do about it defensively.
No, that possession was one of those ones you can't defend much better. You ran out the entire shot clock. You forced a pivot jumper fadeaway that hits nothing but net. It's something really can't beat yourself up about. Just got to accept it, move on, put up your own points in response.
Joel Watts' foot was on the line. Doesn't matter as the shot is no good off the back of the iron. 2 minutes remain in the first half. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network. CUC trailing IIT 30-24. Both these teams in need of a big conference win. Iguade sets a screen for Ortiz. Here's Vion, and Vion to the rim. Liam Cameron almost got a piece of it, and IIT all of a sudden up by 8. Jacob Collicott, Here's Emmanuel Wilson. His floater no good. Liam Cameron, he's fouled. His putback was no good, but does draw the personal foul.
That's something we haven't really seen, a guy we haven't really seen in about 10 minutes or so. Jacob Collicott has not been involved as the Cougars would want him to be so far tonight.
Again, Collicott, I said in the pregame show, I mean, he's really a good test to see what this Cougars team is doing. If Kalikata is thriving as Cameron's first shot rolls out, Kalikata is thriving. I mean, this is he's such a complete player to talk about him. I mean, we talked about his stat line from the SNC loss, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 5 steals, 4 assists. Like, he does a little bit of it all. So when he's out there, he's making plays. He does so much for your team. And right now, like you said, Jonathan, he's been kind of absent. That's a big reason that CUC is really struggling here in the tail end of the first half. Vion inbounds it to Gigstad. Gigstad double teamed, and he loses it. Here's Justin Greenlee to the rim for the slam.
And that's the big 1-2 punch. Jordan Matthews tips it to Justin Greenlee. Brings it to a 5-point game. That possession right there with the free throws and the dunk, it's only 3 points, but it is a huge momentum shifter right there to shut down a possession when it's barely 10 feet down the court.
CUC gets a big bucket, and that forces the IIT timeout. We're going to catch our breath here on the Cougar Sports Network, and when we come back, 1:21 left to go in the first half. CUC trailing IIT 32-27. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network after a brief second away, CUC, they are trailing IIT 32-27, less than 1:20 to go in the first half of play. Cougars trying to double team on the press. Here is Gigstad. Gigstad baseline drive, and he is fouled by Brett Hatton. So IIT will get an inbound here, and so far only 5 team fouls apiece for IIT and CUC. It's been a very clean game of basketball so far in the foul category, as we might not see either team hit the bonus by the time this first half is up. Gigstad uses Vion for a 3 and drains it. Excellent screen set there by Andrew Vion. Gigstad able to fire it from behind his back. Here's Matthews now against Biazzi, no good, and Beckman tips it. Here's Greenlee for a shot, good! Justin Greenlee, a long 2, and CUC back within 6. Here's Carter, blocked by Beckman, and Beckman draws a foul, however. Beckman commits the foul, I meant to say. A little too much of Garrison Carter on that block.
Going back to that last Cougars possession, that is a heck of a play from Sean Beckman. Won't get credit for the rebound there, but he knows he's going to be contested. It's not a great spot to his shot, and that's a perfect tap out to a wide open Justin Greenlee right at the elbow. Easy 2 points. It's smart basketball. It's what you're going to need to get back into this game.
You see big men make that play a lot of the time when they have 3, even 4 guys in opposite jerseys surrounding them. They'll just jump up and swat it towards the top of the key and, send a prayer up that one of their teammates is there. Beckman, his prayer is fulfilled as Justin Greenlee was right there to take the shot. And great shot execution by Justin Greenlee, as that was by no means an easy shot either, a long 2. As CUC finds themselves down 8 once again, 46.9 seconds to go in the first half of play. As the referees having another conversation, plenty of communication going on between the stripes tonight, between the pregame shot clock malfunction on CUC's part, which resulted in a free throw before the game even started. And now CUC, they face a heavy press here. As IIT playing a zone defense, trying to cause a turnover, or at least slow CUC down. 16 seconds separate the shot clock and game clock. Here's Justin Greenlee. Greenlee pulls it out to Matthews. Matthews now back to Greenlee. Greenlee, a long 2, and he's fouled. Biazzi will be tagged with it.
CUC, they're at the point, they're hitting their shots again. They're getting points up on the board, but it's a tough spot where Illinois Tech really isn't cooling off. They're keeping that solid 8-point gap over the Cougars. it's doing really well for Illinois Tech right now.
5 for their last 5 from the field are the Scarlet Hawks. So even when CUC's offense is playing well, as Justin Greenlee sinks his first free throw, even when the Cougars' offense is kind of picking up momentum a little, Scarlet Hawks are just not cooling down whatsoever, like Jonathan said, as Greenlee looks to make it a 6-point game with the second free throw attempt. He's an 81% shooter on the season. That is one of the better marks in terms of conference play. He's actually second in total field goal percentage at 55.1% as the Cougars, and they almost get a turnover there. It somehow got through Greenlee's paws right into Carter. Another double team here. Teklagurskis loses it, and IIT now, they have a 5-on-3 advantage. As CUC sprinting to get back on defense, they do. 10 seconds remain in the half. IIT, Teklagurskis with the ball. IIT can get the last shot. Carter here, no good. Rebound gathered by Kalika, and that fling would be no good as the buzzer rang, and that concludes first half play. CUC, everything was looking peachy for the Cougars for a while, and then the Scarlet Hawks come storming back. They will take a 37-31 lead into the halftime locker room as Coach Rashawn Searles and the Cougars have some major adjustments to make in the 15 minutes or so they get off before they're back out on the court for second half action. We'll have that for you on the Cougar Sports Network when we're back in just a bit. Don't go anywhere. Cougars, Scarlet Hawks getting ready for second half action in roughly 14 and a half minutes.
Concordia University Chicago is a Christ-centered Lutheran university where truth, freedom, and vocation form students for lives of influence and service for the common good. Our university offers a wide variety of undergraduate and graduate degree options that are available in person and online. That means we have a program designed for you. Whether you're a high school student, an adult returning to complete your degree, or someone looking to enhance your credentials and prepare for career growth. As a member of this university community, you'll also find support in your spiritual and personal life so you can grow in the faith and discover ways to serve others. To start your next journey with us, visit cuchicago.edu today.
Hi, I'm Monica here at Concordia University Chicago, and we're here outside of Concordia Hall. Concordia Hall is the university's newest residence hall, right on the edge of campus, perfect for students who want to explore the nearby downtown of Oak Park and River Forest. The flexible suite-style living in fully furnished bedrooms lets students choose what works best for them. Every floor is complete with a community lounge and full common kitchen, with a kitchenette, microwave, sink, and refrigerator. The first floor offers the Victory Lounge, connecting to 2 additional residence halls, with no shortage of ways to relax. You're also right next to an open, outdoor plaza, better known as Victory Lane. So now we're here in Concordia Hall's suite-style dorm room, and this is a really nice place to just hang out and chill. And since it's so big, there's plenty of room to spread out and do your homework and just relax. So now making our way into one of the bedrooms, there's plenty of space in this room for you and your roommate. A lot of times students will move the desks so that they've got their separate study space, but my roommate and I, we get along really well, so we can just work together here in the same space. Sometimes I like doing art as well, as you can see by the painting here. It's a 16 by 10 feet space, and most rooms on campus are 10 by 12 feet. So it's really nice to have a little extra space to work with here in Concordia Hall. So this hall is super close to the chapel and the Kennedy Community Center, which has the new Crossroads Dining Hall, so the location is super convenient. And I really love the city scene too. The location here is the closest on campus to the Oak Park River Forest downtown area, which has a ton of great stores and restaurants. Speaking of the city scene, I adore the view from this lounge because you can see the Chicago skyline right there. Concordia Hall at Concordia University Chicago.
Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. We're still here in Geisman Gymnasium as your Concordia University Chicago Cougars are currently trailing the Scarlet Hawks of the Illinois Institute of Technology 37-31 after the first half. Peter Borkowski, Jonathan Shear here on the Cougar Sports Network. And Jonathan, I mean, if you look at the stat sheet, these two teams are neck and neck in a lot of categories. Rebounds are 18-18. The Cougars' leading scorer, Jordan Matthews, has 9 points. The Garrison Carter, the IIT Scarlet Hawks, their leading scorer has 9 points as well. Like, I mean, everything is so neck and neck. The big differentiator is the shooting so far.
Absolutely. CUC shooting 32% so far in the night, well below their season average, well below where they would want to be tonight, and that is in stark contrast to where the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks are, shooting 52% from the field tonight. They are hitting their shots when they need to, and they're not easy shots. These are tough shots. It's allowing them to build that lead that's at 6 heading into this second half. It has been a bit longer, but CUC able to keep that gap within touching distance.
Right, and a big reason for that is, of course, the turnovers.
Yep.
We alluded to it in the pregame show. CUC currently outscoring the Scarlet Hawks 18-7 in the points off of turnovers, but it just doesn't seem to be enough against the Scarlet Hawks team who, I mean, they struggled. There was a 5-6 minute stretch where they didn't score any points at all, and then all of a sudden, in the back half of that first half, they came alive. And Jonathan, the other thing is they were hitting tough shots too. These were not layups at the rim they were making. I mean, floaters, fadeaways, whatever you want to say, they were able to hit all of it.
Yeah, I think it mostly goes back to what's so indicative is that Garrison Carter pivot, fadeaway, mid-range jumper as the shot clock expires.
Right.
That is an insanely tough shot, especially as contested as it was. And they've been hitting multiple shots like that. They're playing just really, really good basketball right now.
Right, and another thing, and it's something else we talked in the pregame show, is they're using a lot of personnel. I mean, they're rotating guys in and out. Carter's really been one of the mainstays, him and Nicholas Ortiz, while the Cougars, they're really sticking with their guys, which is kind of their motif. They do that a lot of the time, and, I mean, that's just hard to defend. When you have so many guys coming in and off the bench, there are so many different play styles to adjust to, and CUC seems to be struggling a little bit with that because it's a bit of everybody for IIT. It isn't just Carter. Everybody's getting their love tonight.
Yeah, we've seen, I mean, a big one of those is Joshua Guade. Not too many points or an excessive impact so far, but he comes into the game, easily wins rebounds, easily gets the putbacks, and we've seen CUC, they've had to adapt their game plan to that. Liam Cameron getting minutes in the first half, something he doesn't get too often, to try and fend off the 6'10" guy on Illinois Tech's side. So CUC is having to adjust their personnel to adapt to the way that Illinois Tech plays, which there's a good chance that's part of what's been affecting this game so far.
All right. Well, 80 seconds until we resume play here in Geisman. Jonathan, a really quick bullet point. What do the Cougars have to do to get back in this game? And they're in the game. It's only a 6-point deficit right now. What do they need to do to tie it up and then hopefully take the lead, come away with a win tonight?
I think a big thing for CUC is don't play like you're coming from behind. Don't panic. Put up good shots when you need to. They've taken more shots than Illinois Tech so far, and they've made fewer. You can't just chuck up shots hoping that they'll go in. They've got to start taking good shots that they are confident that they can hit.
Definitely. Well, we'll see if Coach Rashawn Searles and his halftime adjustments work for CUC. They trail the Scarlet Hawks by 6, 37-31. Jonathan and I still on the call with you as we get ready for second half action here in Geisman. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network. Second half about to kick off here in Geisman Gymnasium. Peter Borkowski, Jonathan Shear with you on the Cougar Sports Network as the Cougars got some work to do, trailing the Scarlet Hawks by 6, 37-31. Scarlet Hawks start with the ball at midcourt. As here is Gigstad over to Nicholas Ortiz. Ortiz dribbling as he gets double teamed for a second, and Matthews comes away with the pickoff. Jordan Matthews brings it up court, not slowing down. Now he pulls out from beyond the arc. Matthews, spin move on Gigstad, bunny hop, floater, no good. There's Vion with the rebound. Vion, he falls, no foul. As here is Garrison Carter. Carter, an acrobatic layup. Michael Jordan, eat your heart out on that one as he was floating through air. And Emmanuel Wilson, he responds with a good bank off the glass. 39-33 the score.
And instead of tough shots for these teams, it's tough layups back to back. Garrison Carter's very impressive. But right there, second turnover of the half for Illinois Tech. That's what's allowed the Cougars to keep this gap around 6 to 8 to prevent it from getting any bigger. It's probably the biggest weakness that Illinois Tech's had so far this game by a large margin.
Biazzi got tagged with a violation on the inbound. Didn't get the pass off in time, and that allows CUC to get a chance here and make something happen. Emmanuel Wilson beyond the arc. He's got Carter on him. Hands it to Greenlee inside. Here is Sean Beckman. Beckman now leaning up against Vion, and a foul called on Vion. And that'll be Vion's second personal on the night. Team first of the half as IIT defending this 6-point lead. They would love conference win number 3 here tonight. Sean Beckman now. Beckman handoff to Wilson. Wilson as Beckman fighting to get inside. Beckman does. Beckman now against Vion, up and in. Sean Beckman. Beckman 6'8", Vion. He's 6'6", as we have another turnover here.
And Illinois Tech is just not playing the way they want to. Far from it. Back-to-back 5-second violations before even inbounding the ball. That's just bad all around from Illinois Tech. You're giving free possession to this Cougars team, a team that is using them.
And there's Collicott, goes up for it. Gets some head taps from the audience. Collicott, no good. Greenlee with the putback. Greenlee cleans up the rebound, and the Cougars are back within 2. And now a timeout has to be called. CUC is riding high. Garrison Carter had no options on that inbound. CUC just clogging every passing lane. 30-second timeout used by Carter just to save him from a third 5-second violation. And Jonathan, I mean, we talked about it pregame. CUC is, like I said, what you can be described as a second-half team. This is a team who they come out of the locker room fired up, ready to go. And when you're down by 20 to St. Norbert, that's probably not going to be enough to make it up. But when you're down by 6 to IIT tonight, a great second half can easily erase that deficit, as they've almost done it here, trailing just by 2 now.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming out high energy. This is a high-intensity press so far, and it is working every single time that Illinois Tech has had the chance to inbound. They just haven't gotten it off. You don't see that very often at all at the college level. This CUC defense is working incredibly well right now, and they've only had to defend one real possession.
Well, they tried again. Sean Beckman was the only safety back. This time they inbound it. Vion now trapped by the double team. Ball is loose, and Vion gathers it. Catastrophe averted. Vion now to the rim and in. Andrew Vion, nice move to get right under the basket. Here comes CUC. Collicott stops. Collicott up, and it's blocked. Foul on the play. Andrew Vion getting a little too handsy. He gets tagged with his second personal of just the half of the opening minute 50.
That's not a rate you want to be picking up fouls for a player like Vion. Been instrumental in this second half so far for Illinois Tech.
9 points on the day as a whole, 4 for 5 as Collicott hits his first freebie. Yeah, Vion a starter on this team. And now we have a player trying to check in with a warm-up shirt on.
There's Tekla Gergis back into the game. Tekla Gergis runs a slightly faster offense when he's taking point for this Illinois Tech team. We see how that affects this sort of press-style defense that CUC has switched to.
And IIT barely gets rid of it. Garrison Carter is there. Here is Carter. Carter taking his time. He's got Beckman at the top of the key. Now Carter moves, bodies up, but not big enough for Garrison Carter. A tough layup to the rim through Beckman as the Cougars now down by 4 again. Here's Greenlee. Greenlee surveying the scene, finds Wilson. Wilson now out to Beckman from the corner, no good, and Emmanuel Wilson almost had the rebound, getting his hand up just in time was Biazzi. Here's Tekla stops. Tekla over to Carter. Carter to the rim, and great fingertip roll off the backboard. Garrison Carter has hit some extremely tough shots tonight. He continues it here in the second half. He's up to 13 as here's Greenlee slicing and dicing his way through the D. And CUC not trying to fall down by more than that 4-point deficit. Here's Gigstad, face guarded by Matthews. Gets rid of it to Ortiz. Ortiz now, as Greenlee switches onto him. Gigstad, pump fake, stops, over Tekla Gergis, a 3. It's no good. Greenlee right there. And now the Cougars, they get a rare stop on defense, which has been hard to come by against this IIT offense. Here's Beckman, mismatch in the paint, loses it, and foul. Great IQ play there by Sean Beckman. Beckman, the 6'8" forward, going up against a 6'1" Tekla Gergis. That's one of those you just tuck the ball and start buying your way to the rim.
And that rim right there, Illinois Tech, very, very aggressive on defending the paint, as they've had to be to stop Sean Beckman, sending 4 men right into the paint as Beckman works his way towards the rim.
Here's Wilson. Wilson driving to the rim and in! Emmanuel Wilson, he wants a foul too, but he'll take the 2 points. As CUC gets it back to a 1-possession game. 45, 43 is the score. As here's Garrison Carter, slows down once he crossed half. Carter putting some fancy dribbles before he gets rid of it. Bishop Green guarding Ortiz. Here's Biazzi. Biazzi spins around Bishop Green. Shot, it's in. Biazzi with a little pizzazz on that play. When his put his defender, Bishop Green, in the spin cycle, who pump faked the 3 there. He pulls back. Justin Greenlee now. Greenlee at the top, finds Collicott over to Bishop Green. Bishop Green inside and a foul. Paint violation called on IIT. Nicholas Ortiz spending a little too much time in the shaded part of the court.
And that's just, this is very different to the way the first half went. IIT never really felt in danger of fouling too much. 4 fouls in the first 5 minutes here for the Scarlet Hawks. Big shift in style of play from the first half.
Wilson from 3, nothing but net. Emmanuel Wilson gets CUC back within 1 with a huge pull-up 3.
Coming into the second half down, you're going to look to your scores to put up more points. You're also going to look, maybe get some points in some new areas. Emmanuel Wilson, no points in the first half, already 7 here within the first 5 minutes of the second half. And a big 3 to make it a 1-point game. CUC fighting their way right back into making this a competitive second half.
Greenlee guarding Carter. As CUC, 3 seconds. IIT has to get it over, and it's out of bounds. And the ball did make it over a half. They were 1 second away from a backcourt violation. CUC has done a great job of just stalling IIT on their backcourt. As here is Desmond Price. The inbounds at the Carter. Swings it right back to Price, and that's sent out of bounds. Last touch by a Cougar.
And that's something here. Illinois Tech, they like to run their offense, let it develop over time. With this CUC press, with Illinois Tech taking longer to get it down, they have a lot less time to develop those offensive plays when they have the possession.
Rodney Murphy, his pass is deflected. 15 seconds left. This has been a very long 30 seconds on the shot clock as we've had multiple breaks on both ends of the court. As here is Price. Price bounce pass to Carter. Carter against Bishop Green. Carter's going to try and take it himself. And Bishop Green, great defense right there. Jacob Collicott with the rebound. CUC can take the lead. Jordan Matthews. Matthews to the rim. Stop and no good. Foul called. As we'll see, it is on IIT Nicholas Ortiz. And 2 shots come up for Jordan Matthews. And he can tie the game with a 1-for-2 trip. He can take the lead with a 2-for-2 trip. Matthews on the season as his first shot is up and good. A 74% free throw shooter. He is now 3 for 3 on the day.
And with that shot, we're back to a tied game between these two teams. It's been a while since we've been here, about 10 minutes left in the first half.
As the second free throw takes a merciful roll in, and CUC back on top here, 48-47. An exciting game here between these two Chicago-based teams. Tekla Gergis, floater, no good. Rebound, and 1 for number 21, Rodney Murphy. Great job on the putback through contact. Sean Beckman a little too physical, and now IIT, they retake the lead, and they can make it a 2-point game here.
That's a bit of those hustle plays you really like to see from a guy like Murphy. That's also a bit of a tough spot for the Cougars right now. Sean Beckman, been a big key player so far tonight. That's his 3rd foul of the evening.
Shot is good from Murphy. Yeah, something to note, Sean Beckman now in foul watch. It's 5 and you're done. He's, like Jonathan pointed out, he's at 3, so he's got 2 more before his night is over. Justin Greenlee to Jacob Collicott over Jordan Matthews. Now Matthews swings it back. Collicott from the top of the arc. No good. Sean Beckman went up for it, but getting up even more for it was Rodney Murphy. Here's Tekla Gergis against Collicott. And both of them sputter on the ground. Tekla Gergis able to recollect his own drop. Murphy. Here's Price, a deep 3. No good. It hit the backboard. As that's a bad miss. Gives the Cougars the ball back. Justin Greenlee trying to shake and bake his defender. His shot no good. Rebound collected by Collicott. Collicott, and that ball loose, but there's Sean Beckman. Beckman now. Emmanuel Wilson from Steph Curry range. Emmanuel Wilson puts up the 3 fingers. That was a deep 3-ball, and CUC back on top, 51-50. Here's Tekla Gergis. Loses his defender on the screen. And right under the basket for a basket was Furkan Muhammad. Wilson now. He's turned it on in the second half. Greenlee, Matthews, Tekla Gergis, step back 3. No good. Hit the back of the rim. And into the hands of number 11, Joshua Iguade, back on the court for the Scarlet Hawks. As he screens Jacob Collicott. Iguade now to the rim. Blocked by Collicott. No soup for you. Here comes Greenlee. Justin Greenlee stops. Sean Beckman passes inside. Jordan Matthews, he's blocked too. It's a block party. And Geisman, it's out of bounds, so CUC can settle things down, but great defensive play. Jacob Collicott on one end and Desmond Price on the other. As Iguade will sub out for Garrison Carter. Greenlee, he has to just huck this one. Matthews let it bounce, and he collects it on the CUC side of midcourt. Here is Jordan Matthews. Matthews and Greenlee almost lost it. Greenlee finds Matthews. Matthews now. Step back, passes to Greenlee. Greenlee now trying to get to the rim. 2 seconds. 1 off the glass, no good. And Hatton, shot clock violation. Cougars could not hit the rim. And IIT a successful defensive stop there.
I said earlier in this game, you're not going to see much direct back and forth between these two teams. I was very much wrong in saying that because this second half has been nothing but direct back and forth, layup, big three, right into a three-point and one play. These two teams are playing some of their best basketball in this half so far.
And it's very much a game of runs in the first half, and as Jonathan alluded to, it is nothing but a back and forth slugfest here in the second half. And here's Garrison Carter. Biazzi, a three, it's no good. Rebound, and Cougars struggle to get it. Emmanuel Wilson, Joel Watts for getting there on the same team, but the CUC able to gather in the end. Wilson inside Brett Hatton. Brett Hatton spinning, no good, but fouled. Foul on number 4 for IIT, Watatani. Team 6 foul as Watatani has 2 personal fouls. Hatton's first free throw is good. His first attempt of the night on the season. Brett Hatton, a 46% shooter from the charity stripe. Struggles from the freebie line for number 10 in white. Everything was good on the first shot. Can give the Cougars the lead here. Shot is up and it is good. CUC back on top. Here's Biazzi. Biazzi desperately looking for an outlet, finds Carter.
CUC starting up that press defense after taking a couple breaks from it.
Carter to Gigstad. Gigstad going up against Collicott. Collicott reach no good, and that is blocked from behind. Gigstad wants a foul. Here's Emmanuel Wilson. Wilson to the rim. It's good. Great go-ahead pass from CUC. Emmanuel Wilson. Easiest basket of your life right there as Garrison Carter now struggle to get it over. They do just in time. 55-52. Carter, a long three. It's good. Nothing but net. A huge heat check there for the Cougars. As CUC finds themselves back in a tied ball game. 55 all. Matthews spin move to the rim. It's in. Jordan Matthews. Spin cycle. And the Cougars back on top by 2. Joel Watts against Gigstad. Joel Watts getting a little handsy and foul. Much to the dismay of the Cougar fans in attendance. Foul will be on Joel Watts. Joel Watts second, the team second. Pass to Gigstad. Goes up against Watts again. Watts, one of the best on-ball defenders the CUC team has in terms of producing steals. 10th in the conference in the steals per game category. Nicholas Ortiz tried to use the V on screen. Doesn't go anywhere. Ortiz to Vion. Vion blocked by Greenlee. It's clean. Justin Greenlee denies Vion at the rim. Bishop Green now looks for an outlet, finds one way up top. Here's Greenlee. Greenlee, and no foul on that. The refs are letting the boys play, and Gigstad, he dribbles out of bounds.
And what this second half has been so far is, in a way, just a matchup of your best players. Let your stars go at it, especially on that Illinois Tech side. We're seeing Garrison Carter take this game into his own hands, up to 18 points so far. Tough layups, tough threes. He is largely responsible for keeping Illinois Tech right with CUC so far in the second half.
Here's Jordan Matthews. Matthews, a floater, it's good, like it's on a lazy river, and CUC up by 4 once again, 59-55. Ball on the ground, Matthews, he ties it up. Wants a jump ball, ref finally calls it. But CUC, they got the timeout in time. The Cougars, some heads-up basketball right there. And that'll be a full timeout. So when we take a second to crank it to some Soulja Boy, we're going to send it to break here on the Cougar Sports Network. CUC on top of the Scarlet Hawks, 59-55. 9:54 to go here in the second half. We'll be back in just a minute.
What's up, everybody? We appreciate you tuning into today's game.
To stay up to date on all things CUC men's basketball, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CUCChicago_MBB.
We'll see you on campus soon. Hey, Mom.
Well, Jonathan, we kind of said it, as we've said it multiple times tonight. The Cougars a second half team, and we are seeing that right now. And a big reason for that is, to no one's surprise really, the turnover battle right now.
Yeah, at this point in the game, so far CUC 24 points off of turnovers. The Scarlet Hawks at 7. Those turnovers were responsible for keeping CUC in the game in the first half. They're now responsible for giving CUC a 2-possession lead here in the second half.
Here's Bishop Green. He's sliding and pivoting. Bishop Green, no good. Ball poked out of bounds by the Scarlet Hawks. CUC, 2 double-digit scores on the court right now. In Greenlee with 12 and Matthews with 15. Here's Bishop Green, still looking for his first basket of the night as Brent Hatton goes to the basket. He's good. Wins the battle of the bigs as he backed Andrew Vion down. And Biazzi finds Gigstad. Gigstad now double team. Cougars all over him. Ortiz with it. As here's Garrison Carter. Carter gets it over. Ortiz now to Vion. He loses it and saves it. Biazzi from the corner. No good. And going for the putback dunk was Carter. He gets tangled up, however. CUC, they have numbers. Greenlee, floater. It's good. Justin Greenlee. Points 13 and 14 as the referee having a discussion with Coach Searles right now.
Yeah, but Justin Greenlee in this second half, he has been on it. Tough layups, a lot of tough runs in, spin off for the tough floater. He is putting up some big shots so far in this second half. He's up to 14 on the game as a total.
Biazzi bounces it to Carter. Carter now goes up against Bishop Green. Bishop Green pokes it away. Carter gets it poked away again as he lets it roll out of bounds. And 1 second left before a backcourt violation. So IIT needs a Hail Mary here. And CUC, one of the best teams in the conference in picking off long passes just due to the athletes they have on the squad. Carter's got to be able to nail this pass. It is NFL playoff season, so hopefully he's been watching some quarterback play. And this pass, Vion, and 1 second is up. Backcourt violation.
Now, that's a really tough one. It's the gather step that got Vion right there. Just a split second too long, and you're done. That's another turnover, and that's CUC ball once again. Another opportunity to extend what has become an 8-point lead.
8-0 run in the last 2:44 for CUC. This game was tied 55 all at one point. No more. Here's Justin Greenlee. Greenlee now kicks it back. William Bishop Green to Jordan Matthews. Matthews top of the key against Gigstad. Matthews tries to put him in the blender. Matthews, one-handed floater. Anything will go. And CUC, they're up by 10. And Coach Gray of IIT has to call a timeout as, again, this was a 55-all ball game, and now IIT has fallen down by 10. So a full timeout for Coach Gray and the Scarlet Hawks, which means we'll send it to a break here. CUC, they are on top of this IIT Scarlet Hawks, 65-55. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Cougars Sports Network. Well, this isn't the only CUC IIT action going on tonight. The two schools' women's basketball teams are duking it out at the Illinois Institute of Technology, and close the ball game there. 7 minutes left to go in regulation. The Cougars on top, 56-55, trying to end a losing streak that has been going on since December 6th. So we'll keep you updated if women's basketball can pull off the win. Meanwhile, here in Geisman Gymnasium, the men's squads find themselves in a very different game than we were at just a couple minutes ago. CUC up by 10 now. 3 minutes ago, it was a tied ball game. Here's Garrison Carter, finds Gigstad. 15 to go on the shot clock. Vion now. Vion rolls to the rim. Vion against Watts, and it's in. Andrew Vion, a mismatch against Joel Watts, and he utilized it to its fullest. They end their skid back within 8. Joel Watts up top to Justin Greenlee. Brent Hatton thought about a three, instead finds Joel Watts, who finds Justin Greenlee. Greenlee, he travels. So IIT will get the ball back. They need a big run here to get back within this one. Less than 8 to go in regulation. They find themselves down by 8.
And the CUC press still working wonders on the defensive end against IIT.
They're doing it once again. That ball almost picked off. Here's Tekla Gurgis. Tekla Gurgis, a bounce pass to Carter, and ball is loose. There's Jordan Matthews. Matthews gets it to Greenlee. Another CUC forced turnover. Collicott. Here's William Bishop Green. Pump fake, got his defender past him. Matthews from the other side of the court. Nothing but a good basket as Jordan Matthews has turned it on here tonight. 20-point performance and a foul called on the Cougars. Matthews, 7 for 15, 20 points. And on the other end of the court, 2 free throws coming up for Andrew Vion, who is 1 for 2 on the night. Third foul to Brent Hatton, so he's got to be careful now. As we see Sean Beckman ready to check in. Him and Hatton are kind of tied in the substitution game as we see Beckman check in. Hatton out. Emmanuel Wilson in as well for William Bishop Green. CUC 13-2 run over the last 4 minutes. 4 for 4 of their last field goals. 13-3 run, I meant to say, as here is Vion. No good. Missed a second free throw. Ball is out, and it is off the Scarlet Hawks. CUC able to get possession there as they are trying to extend their double-digit lead.
Got Joshua Aguade back into the game for the Scarlet Hawks. Illinois Tech probably looking to try and shut down that paint play from CUC.
CUC's been thriving up close to the basket this half. See if the 6'10 Aguade can stop that. Greenlee, he sinks it. He says, we're not just thriving from the paint, we're thriving from everywhere. Another made three for the Cougars. And now a foul on Jordan Matthews.
But that's what the Cougars needed this half that they were missing in that first, is just making those shots. In the first half, shooting well below their usual average. In this half, hitting them from deep, hitting them from the mid-range, hitting them from up close. That's the style. That's what this team needs to play its style of basketball and to take a lead.
As Tekla Gurgis, he loses it. Here's Greenlee, Justin Greenlee to the rim. It's in. And the Cougars are rolling here with 6.5 to go in the game. As now here's an odd man break. Great job there by Collicott to get back in. Desmond Price. Collicott says, get that out of here, but a foul. I think it'll be on Sean Beckman. It will be. 2 shots coming up for Desmond Price. Great swat there from Jacob Collicott, but Beckman, meanwhile, committing the foul.
That's going to put Sean Beckman at 4 now. One more foul, and he's done.
Price's first free throw rims in and out. So CUC catches a break there. Price, his first free throw of the night, is no good on the year. Price is hitting his free throws at an 82% mark. And his second attempt is also no good. A rare 0 for 2 trip from the reliable free throw shooter in Price. Justin Greenlee tries to go coast to coast, gets rejected. Tekla Gergis from behind says it isn't going to be that easy, as Illinois Tech is trying to get back in this one, down by 15.
Part of that is bringing Garrison Carter back into the game. He's been their predominant outlet for scoring points so far.
Here's Wilson. Wilson over. Justin Greenlee gets his man in the air, pulls up, and good. Justin Greenlee and a foul. A late foul. The ball was through the basket. Iguade tagged with it. A costly mistake there from the freshman, and CUC can make this an 18-point game if Emmanuel Wilson can hit his first free throw of the night. Excuse me, Justin Greenlee at the line. Justin Greenlee 2 for 2 from the line. And he hits it. 18-point game in favor of CUC. Tekla Gergis. He gets double teamed on his own side of the court. He has to get rid of it. Finds Biazzi. Price to Carter. Great movement, and Jacob Collicott commits the foul. Carter finishing through contact. Collicott, that's his first personal foul of the night. Doing a good job of cleaning it up after he was fouled out in last game this past Saturday. Shot from Carter is in.
And that three-point play right there, that brings Carter above 20 points on the night. He's now at 21. On CUC's end, one of your men with 20 points is Justin Greenlee. The other is Jordan Matthews. CUC, two of their stars having some big nights tonight.
Sean Beckman, his pass to the baseline was tipped out of bounds. So CUC gets possession right back. And IIT, Jonathan, you have 5.5 minutes left. This is kind of the spot you need to start turning it around if you want to get back in it. More on that in a second, as here's Matthews from 3. It's no good. Rebound Iguade, but like I was saying, under 5.5 minutes, you're down by 15. This is where you need to start putting some points on the board, as hopefully we'll have a chance to talk about it, but Scarhawks right on it. Here's Tekla Gergis, uses the screen by Iguade. Going up against Greenlee. Biazzi, Carter, no good. 3 seconds on the shot clock, and he's fouled from beyond the arc. So he'll get 3 shots on the line. 2 shots on the line. I think they're going to say his foot was on the arc.
So it's still Garrison Carter. He's your point scorer here. You're going to need him to perform well if you want to get back in this, but it's plays like what we just saw from Joshua Iguade on that position right there, taking away what looked like a sure rebound for Sean Beckman, turning it into an Illinois Tech rebound. That's what they're going to need, some high-intensity, fast-paced basketball here to claw back a 14-point gap in just 5 minutes.
Carter seeing if he can make it a 13-point gap. His shot is up and in. Takes a couple fortunate bounces, so it's down to 13. Greenlee slowing the pace down. Matthews. Greenlee top of the key, puts Matthews in motion. Greenlee against Tekla Gergis to Matthews. Matthews baseline drive through the defense. Jacob Collicott sidesteps Tekla Gergis, goes up, no good. Tekla Gergis to rebounds. IIT playing with some speed. They kind of have to, as that shot no good. Greenlee with the board. Greenlee runs into Price, but finds Collicott. Here's Wilson. Wilson to Collicott over. Justin Greenlee stops Greenlee. Looking for anyone. Finds Beckman. Beckman now. And that ball That ball is palmed away, and a behind-the-back pass from Biazzi. And right there is Tekla Gergis. It's in. It took a second to think about it, but falls through the net. And all of a sudden, it's an 11-point lead, and Rashawn Searles wisely using a timeout as IIT, a 7-0 run over 151, and makes it an 11-point game. Talk about some of the stat leaders so far from the night for CUC. 2 20-point scorers, as Jonathan previously mentioned, Justin Greenlee and Jordan Matthews with 22 and 20 points respectively. Emmanuel Wilson also in double digits with 12. And right now, the rebounding champ for CUC is Justin Greenlee with 9. So one more board, and he'll have himself a double-double. On the IIT side of things, it is Garrison Carter, 23. That leads all players on the night. Andrew Vion, he has 12. The only other Scarlet Hawk in double-digit points. And rebounding-wise, it is Aguade with 7. And Tekla Gergis with 5 assists. Something else to watch for, as Tekla Gergis' vision while running point has been on point tonight.
Yeah, so Illinois Tech, when they get on a run, we've seen they can move fast. Last time they were down 11 back in the first half. They clawed back into the lead. That took them just under 7 minutes. Now you've got 4:06 to draw back an 11-point gap. You're going to have to be a lot faster to do it again, but it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility for this Illinois Tech squad.
So Illinois Tech has definitely shown the ability to speed it up when they need to. And they're going to need to. 4:06 down by double digits. See if CUC decides to waste some clock or just decides to play their usual fast-paced chaos ball, as Matthews really slowing it down. 4 seconds to get it over. He does. Matthews now double-teamed, holding on to the ball, and jump ball called.
Now go in CUC's direction right there. Jordan Matthews kind of forcing Illinois Tech to sort of play the way that he wants them to. Slowing it down, not really making that press effective to create a turnover or anything. Working really well for CUC so far on this possession.
Desmond Price almost came away with the pickoff. Here's Greenlee, falls hard to the court. Excuse me, that was the Scarlet Hawk who fell. The foul is on. It's on Greenlee, so an offensive foul. That was Ortiz who took a hard spill. As Scarlet Hawks are now in the single bonus, have been in the single bonus. The Cougars are in the single bonus. 8 fouls for CUC, 7 for Illinois Tech. 23 seconds on the shot clock, as here is Ortiz. Ortiz stops Vion. Back to Ortiz. Ortiz trying to get a screen as he's got Jordan Matthews all over him. Here's Ortiz, 7 seconds left. Carter from 3, it's good. Garrison Carter will not be denied tonight. He's going to drag this IIT team kicking and screaming back into the game as they are down by just 8 now. Matthews, Emmanuel Wilson. Emmanuel Wilson with Biazzi. Wilson to Matthews. Here comes Matthews. Stops, spins, shot, no good. Rims around, but Jacob Collicott cleans up the mess. Collicott now. Cougars had a fresh shot clock. 15 to go on the shot clock. Matthews bounce pass to Collicott. Collicott falling. Fadeaway shot. Good. Jacob Collicott. A tough shot, but number 14 makes it. And it's back to a 10-point game. 78-68, 2.5 to go. In regulation, here's Carter. Garrison Carter. Getting the signs from head coach TJ Gray, as his team needs some big plays in succession here. Biazzi, no good. Jacob Collicott gets up there for the board.
And that's something big that this Tech squad has been missing tonight, is Dario Biazzi's three-point shooting. On the season, he's been their best man from beyond the arc, shooting just over 48% on the season. tonight yet to hit a three-pointer. And they've been getting points elsewhere, but that's just an element that they don't have tonight, and it's hurt them so far.
Greenlee with the scoop, and CUC up by 12, and that'll force a timeout by Coach Gray and the Scarlet Hawks. And I believe it'll be a full timeout. It will be, but as Jonathan was saying, Biazzi, 7th in the conference in three-pointers a game with 2.1. So he'll have to turn it up as his Scarlet Hawks, they trail the Cougars 80-68. 1:42 left to go in regulation. We'll take a break here on the Cougar Sports Network and be back for the conclusion of tonight's game between the Scarlet Hawks and the Cougars. Back here in Geisman Gymnasium, Cougars on top of the Scarlet Hawks 80-68, and Jonathan, you pointed it out during the break. A big reason for that is how the rebounding battle has gone in the second half. It was tied 18-18 in the first half, and now the Cougars have a 9-rebound advantage in that category.
Yeah, a lot of those coming as offensive rebounds. Actually, that entire gap is in offensive rebounds. That's second chance points. That's elongated possessions. That allows you to build a lead and then sustain that lead for longer.
IIT is going to need some late game magic here, down by 12 with just over 90 seconds to go as Emmanuel Wilson pokes it away. 1 second on the backcourt, and there it is. Gigstad cannot get it over in time. You can see Coach Gray beyond himself on the bench as his team is just struggling with clock awareness, it seems. And again, part of that is due to the hard press by the Cougars, but think about all the turnovers we've seen in this second half that have been 5-second violations on the inbounding pass, backcourt violations, which are 10 seconds. Scarlet Hawks just cannot move it forward in time.
So to play like that this late in the game, that is a dagger to your hopes of a comeback right there. That's another possession just lost.
Wilson! That might be the dagger. A big three for Emmanuel Wilson. As CUC now extends their lead. They're calling it a long two, so a 14-point game, and that shot no good. Beckman with the rebound. He gets tied up by Biazzi. Biazzi throwing his hands up, trying to show it was unintentional. It was a messy rebound, which caused the ruckus back in the first game these two teams played on November 25th. And they're trying to avoid that here. Late game scenario, 52 seconds and change. Cougars up by 14 as Sean Beckman will have a chance for a 1-and-1. Both teams with 18 fouls on the half. Beckman's first shot good, so he'll get himself a second shot. 83-68. And it's good. So CUC makes it a 16-point game. IIT's going to have to start chucking up some threes as Tekla Gergis is slowly bringing it up. That's a luxury IIT really can't afford. Andrew Vion, hard to the rim, no good. There's Beckman, and CUC can just about run it out. 10 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock. As IIT, a hard press, no fouls. They're not even trying to get a turnover. As Justin Greenlee finds Collicott. Collicott with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Back to Greenlee. CUC just trying to run this one out. Greenlee with 3 seconds. 2. Greenlee's just going to let the shot clock go. So 10.2 seconds for the Scarlet Hawks to get some last-minute points, some last-second points, I should say, and make this 16-point game, a little more respectable. Here's Tekla Gergis. brings it up. Desmond Price, a last three. It's good. Does very little. Collicott holds the ball 3, 2, and 1, and that'll do it. The Cougars, they end their losing streak at 2 and pick up a big win over the Illinois Institute Technology Scarlet Hawks, 84-71. Let's run through some of those final statistics for you tonight. The point leader of the night was Garrison Carter. His team's coming away with the L, but what an effort by number 30 for the away team. 26 points, also had 4 rebounds. In terms of the rebounding battle for IIT, it was Iguade. He had 7. That is the top mark on that department. And the assist leader for IIT was Tekla Gergis with his 6. Meanwhile, if we look back at the Concordia University Chicago Cougars, Justin Greenlee leading the way, 24 points, but not too far behind him was Jordan Matthews with 20. Emmanuel Wilson and Sean Beckman both in double-digit figures with 14 and 11 respectively. The rebounding kings for CUC and the game, Justin Greenlee and Jacob Collicott with 9 boards each. And CUC's main dishman of the night was Collicott with 3 assists. He also had a pair of blocks, playing some staunch defense on these Scarlet Hawks. But Jonathan, this was a game where the CUC trailed by 6 at half, and they pulled away with, an impressive back end of the second half, really. I mean, the first part of this second half was a really close game. We talked about it up, through the high 40s, low 50s scoring. It was a back and forth affair, but once it was tied 50-55, that's where CUC just absolutely launched into orbit, propelled themselves to this win here tonight. Let's get your final thoughts on it.
We said earlier before the game, CUC offensive team, they're going to have to hit shots to win. They did hit shots in the first half, not nearly as much as they would have wanted to. In that second half, though, they really hit those shots. 58% from the field in the second half, 50% from beyond the arc. That's how you win a game. Take a lot of shots, hit a lot of shots, put up 53 points in a half to come back from 6, win by 13. CUC came out and really played about as good a second half as you can to take this victory.
Well, CUC, they'll be back in action this Saturday, taking a trip up to Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, a 4 p.m. date with the Sabres of Marian University. Coverage for that game can be found at our website, cucougars.com, and they return home not until January 31st, a 7 p.m. game against the Edgewood College Eagles. It's neon night, so make sure to break out your best fluorescents if you're planning on attending that January 31st game, which is when CUC will be back here in Geisman. And that game can be found on our YouTube page, CUC Sports. But we are wanting to say thanks to everybody making this production possible down at the scorers table, Dave Dimeling and Wyatt McLaughlin. Our cameramen for the night, Eric Perry and Tyler Dorn, Sebastian Miller floating around taking photographs as always. And our producer for the night was Ashley Schroll. Jonathan Shear joining me on the Cougar Sports Network. A pleasure as always. But Cougar fans, don't go anywhere just yet. Post-game interview with head coach of CUC, Rashawn Searles, coming up shortly. So we'll have that for you in just a second. One more time. Cougars pull off the win, 84-71, but we're not done just yet. Post-game interview with Coach Searles in just a second. Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network, Cougar fans. And after the Cougars' 84-71 victory over the IIT Scarlet Hawks, joined by head coach of CUC, Coach Searles. Coach, congrats on the big win here against the Scarlet Hawks. And it was a game you guys were down at 6 in halftime, and then you came back here in the second half and blew the Scarlet Hawks out of the water in second half play. What was the main differentiator between those two halves? What did you guys do and improve upon from that first half that led to that big second half?
The biggest thing was we made shots.
Yeah.
You know, we've been shooting pretty poorly. We've been playing well, but we just haven't been able to convert. And I thought second half we made shots, and a big piece of that was we had guys, you know, be more aggressive.
Okay.
Actually settle in and play their game. You know, big shout out to E-Man, Manuel Wilson, Jordan Matthews, Justin Greenlee, Sean Beckman. Those guys really stepped up and really played well. And then Jacob Collicott, because he sacrificed shots for the defensive end. And so, you know, I thought those guys really settled in and played their style of basketball.
Right.
And it translated. And once they kind of got comfortable, shots began to fall.
Right.
So.
And I wanted to talk about Matthews because, you know, he didn't have one of his better games in that SNC game, just 4 points. And he comes out, drops 20 on IIT. I'm sure you have to be really happy as coach to see that resilience from Matthews. I mean, he is an older guy on the team. I'm sure you expected it. But to be able to bounce back from, again, one of his more poor performances of the year and put up a really great game tonight, Matthews was key to your guys' win.
Absolutely. I mean, Jordan Matthews is one of the best players in the conference, if not, you know, the entire Midwest and country. And so, you know, it's only natural to go through a shooting slump, you know, especially when you're the number one guy in a scouting report every night. It's going to be tough. So with him, you know, we trusted that he would get through it. He's a great player. And he even admitted, like, you know, I'm just going through a rut. I'm going to get out of it. And he came back. I remember after the St. Norbert game, he stayed in the gym late and was getting shots.
Oh, really?
You know, him and Glenn was our team manager. He was, you know, rebounding for him. And Jordan, you could see it was heavy on his mind that he wanted to correct this. And he put in the work. And like we preached to the team, you put the work in, it eventually will balance out.
Definitely.
And Jordan, you know, he's been as consistent as they come. And, you know, he made shots. It just tells you what type of guy he is, what type of player he is.
Right. Well, you guys are back at it this Saturday, taking a trip to Marion University. And, you know, we're kind of at that point in conference schedule where you guys need a run here. You know, you're still a game below 500, and you guys got to pick up some momentum, get a streak going, especially with CIT coming up next weekend. And then really after that, it's conference play to the end. So how do you guys continue the momentum from tonight? What do you need to build on off of tonight? How do you carry that into the Marion game and then even further past that?
Well, one, we just want to take it one game at a time. All right, continue to build. Nothing else matters right now besides the Marion game. And on top of that, we just want to stay aggressive, stay playing with that energy, that fire, that confidence, and continue to build on that. You know, I think if we take it one game at a time, we should be good.
Right.
All right.
Definitely. Well, let's see. You see an exciting 84-71 win over the IIT Scarlet Hawks here in Geisman tonight. They'll be back at it at Marion University on Saturday, a 4 p.m. start time. Coverage for it can be found at our website, CUCougars.com. Coach Searles, thanks for joining me post-game. Congrats on the big win. Enjoy it. And then, like you said, get ready for Marion on Saturday.
Thank you.
But until then, this is Peter Borkowski signing off of the Cougar Sports Network and wanting to say at everybody at home, go Cougars.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's Concordia University Chicago Cougars Athletics broadcast. We hope to see you on campus very soon. If you would like to learn more about what Concordia Chicago has to offer, go to cuchicago.edu.